In last presidential elections, Kwankwaso got 1.8, 1.9 in that presidential election. And because he had Kano State in lockdown, the governor was from him and all of that. As we speak, he does not have the governor. So, and what is the influence of Kwankwaso in the northwest, or don't talk of northeast? So take the two together.
Okay, first of all, I must correct you. Ohaegbu is not a political party.
Yes.
It's not a political party.
It's socio-cultural.
It's a socio-cultural.
Very powerful.
It's a socio-cultural cultural group, yes. And they should be allowed to make a decision at the appropriate time. I'm sure when the political parties are done with their primaries, they will now take a decision or where they think the interests of Igbos will be protected. So saying that Ohaegbu are not supported, I mean, it's wrong for that. That said, first of all, ask you a question. If you are playing this card of governors, ministers, senators, how many governors did the P2OB move to Labour Party in 2023? How many? By the time he finished with Labour Party, how many senators, members of House of Reps, and governors did he produce? You see, what we are talking about, we're talking about people. We're talking about the people. He represents a lot more than that. If he has succeeded, if you understand the politics of the Southeast, you will know that it's extremely difficult. It's the zone that is most difficult for one person to rally around all other leaders and be adopted as a leader. And in the entire 6 political zones, it's only the same Southeast that is difficult to have a leader like that got someone. They rallied around him without any dissent and adopted him as the leader and the face of the Southeast in NDC. That face is what I said has moved to NDC. The presumption is that they have moved. You see, what we are talking about is the people. And you are wrong when you make reference to governors, senators, and House of Reps. The idea of NDC is to defeat a sitting president. The whole idea of NDC is to defeat a sitting president. So if it's to defeat a sitting president, why would you lay a lot of emphasis on senators and members of House of Reps who have probably not performed? Let me give you an example. The House of Representative member representing my zone was the President General of his community, Ozobolo. Before he ran for election in 2023, he lost in all the wars from his zone. He lost in his local government. He lost his polling booth in his ward. So if you are not playing him up, but let's identify you, but I don't know what he did in the Navy, another local government, and then the court. The man is in the House of Reps now. The situation for him has not changed. I'm sure he has never been to by town. He doesn't know how General Hospital. He doesn't know anything that has happened. I'm not sure he has any constituency office anywhere. So if he's been perceived to have underperformed, how would you now give credit to him joining to any political party? Because he will be part of the people that are going to be removed in 2027. So 2027 is not about governors, no. It's about the people taking back the leadership of this country to themselves and dictate and determine who takes what, not the governors. And
then you said Kwankwaso, you've not answered that part. Kwankwaso, you said, is a strong political, the Southeast has partnered with North.
No, let me, you said something about Kwankwaso.
Yes.
You acknowledge that Kwankwaso produced a governor in Kano.
Yes.
Before he ran for that election, was there any member, House of Reps, or senator, or governor in his political party? The Kano, he ran without any governor. He ran with the people.
But is the governor still with him?
No, you are not. You are saying that because he had a governor, therefore he should win. Now he doesn't have a governor. And then I'm asking you, before the man was made a governor, was he a sitting governor? He was not. The person there is Kwankwasiya. The person there is Kwankwaso, and Kwankwaso is constant. The people who are following they are constant. So the same way, let me tell you, I can bet you that if the report the APC gets is that with the movement of all these governors to APC, that 2027 is a done deal, I can bet you there will be no problem in any of the political parties. But what is going on now is that there is the impression that Despite you having the governors, please, if you go to the polls, you will lose.
Where else does Kwankwaso's political influence extend to in the northwest, northeast, beyond Kano? Where else?
Well, if you are running for election in Nigeria and you have Kano in your pocket, it helps to build the momentum. When we were talking about, when Obi, when he joined Labour, there was no, people do not have that belief that he was going to win election. People read you, look at the possibility of your winning. Now that Kwankwaso has now partnered with Obi, Obi from the southeast has the best, arguably, the best organic movement. So if the Obidient and the Kwankwasiya are now joined together, people will now believe that there is the possibility of the rescue coming from this political party. And mind you, all the opposition political parties met in Ibadan. They met in Ibadan and they decided that they are going to field one candidate. Who told you that the candidate will not be Peter Obi and the Kwankwaso?
Let's move away from that. We just need to interrogate. What we do is just to interrogate, issues for clarity. Because I remember that Kwankwaso stood for himself on the ballot on NNPP in 2023, and he got only 1.8, 1.9 when he was on the ticket, the made man on the ticket. But let's leave that. Now, you are running to be House of Reps member in 2027, correct me? Okay. Now, this 10th assembly, this 10th National Assembly has been variously described by almost everybody who is knowledgeable as worse than rubber stamp. The 9th Assembly led by Ahmed Lawan, the tag, the alias was rubber stamp. But this 10th one is worse than a rubber stamp. Because whatever the president brings, it passes. Electoral Act that we've vilified here, it was passed. Nobody read a copy of that Electoral Act before it was passed. In 24 hours, it was passed. Loans, every day, loans, 1 billion, 2 billion, 500 million, passed. How did we get to this point?
You see, that is what Nigerians are going to interrogate now. Earlier I was telling you that NDC is not just to remove a sitting president. That NDC is going to ensure that anybody who has not performed will not be returned to power, will not be rewarded with ticket, will not be rewarded with re-election. So that is what is going to happen. It's now the responsibility. I'm not going to stand in for them. There are members of the National Assembly, despite what is happening in the National Assembly, have also provided voice for the people. If you watch, there was Senator Tony Woye, when he attended budget defense of the Southeast Development, he saw what he told them. These are the things people are looking at. They are not necessarily what executive could have done. That when it's not going well, did you provide the voice? If infrastructure is not in the southeast, have you spoken out? If you did not support the loans that were taken by the federal government because you were muzzled through in the House of Reps, did you speak out? Some, the importers in the Navy, during my consultation, I was at the generator pass in the Navy. The importers in the Navy said after the death of Ifeanyi that the sun had descended heavily, the allegation, heavily on them.
Standards Organization of Nigeria.
Yes, that they have been unfair to them. That is the allegation. And they sounded helpless because to them, they do not have the voice that will speak for them. The member representing the other federal constituency, they do not even know his name. He does not have a functional office within the federal constituency. So he can even provide. Let me tell you, I'm a teacher. I teach in Christ Church University. I teach family law. Where I live, close to the university, I had issue with the water provider to my house. I changed the water provider. I changed to another water provider. The other ones, that gave me a bill I didn't understand. You know what I did? I looked for the MP. And I wrote to the MP. Within 24 hours, I got a response. They took it up and wrote to the water. They wrote me back, giving me account, and apologized. But here, in the North South Equizzo Federal Constituency, the representative is not known. He absconded with the seat. He ran away with the seat. Now that we are coming back to 2027, he is coming back again to be voted for. Meanwhile, his community told us that he was not a competent person to represent us. That was why they voted against him in 2023. So are you now telling me that in 2027, because he has come to NDC, that he will be re-elected? That's not possible. So it's not all about the incompetence of the APC. Everybody who has been elected to represent the people, we have to give account of what he or she has done in the last 3 years.
Brilliant. I love this point, this last point you made, because you know why? Mr. Peter Obi, kudos to him. 2023, he was a one-man riot squad, mobilized the people in their millions, and he got 6.1 million votes personally as presidential candidate of Labour Party. Beyond that, quite a number of senators and House of Rep members, rode on his bandwagon to get into office. But here's where it gets really disappointed. Once they got sworn in and became, members of the National Assembly, they went quiet. All the ills that bedeviled this administration of President Tinubu, we have not had maybe 2 or 3 speak out to say, oh, we are against this electoral act, or against this loan. I think once or twice we saw them, but they collected constituency allowance, they collected cars, all these SUVs and all of that. Is that what's going to happen when you get to the National Assembly? So
what you have just said is why I am of the view that Wamis should be interrogated.
No, don't give us your alias. People don't understand
that. Okay, Obunike Ohaegbu. No, my people, those in Abuja may not know me as Wamis. People in my federal constituency, they know me as Wamis. Okay, so I should be interrogated. I said I did youth service in the National Assembly. I said I came back to work for 4 years in the National Assembly as a senior legislative aide. I said I was a federal commissioner in charge of Public Complaints Commission representing FCT from Kaura Market to Wuse Market down to Day Market. Do you know that when I was federal commissioner, I was the one that championed the medical school in University of Abuja to be accredited? When the students were rioting, the students were demonstrating, I drove my hillocks myself. My driver was scared. I drove to the students, parked in front of them in the university where they were coming out. I came out of the hillocks. I stood on the hillocks. People say I took risks that they should have stood. I said, these are the same people I've been discussing with. These are the people, you see, the people know whom you are. These are the things you can Google. So when people start saying, Obunike Ohaegbu, okay, who did you vote for in 2023? They are for us to know what. That is where they will get it wrong. The issue is that Wami said he wants to go to House of Reps. Look at what he has done. Interrogate it. Is he competent? Is he good? Is he consistent? Look at his past record. I represented the FCT that brought enormous job opportunities to my people in my federal constituency. Can you interrogate that? Those are records you should look at, not who. So this time around, people are looking beyond Mr. Peter Obi. Mr. Peter Obi, excellent. But we also need to know people who want to jump into the ticket on whatever sentiment to go. Anybody who wants to run on NDC ticket, we want to know what he has done in the past. If he was a PG, did he PG well? If he was a senator, did he senate well? So that is what we are talking about. Not about nobody. Nobody should be deceived into the sentiment. Oh, he didn't say hello to us in 2023, therefore I will not. No! Who is that person? What is his competence? What is his dedication? Who is he? We need to interrogate every individual. We are removing the veil of every candidate who is going to run on the platform, every aspirant who is going to run on the platform of NDC. We have approved Peter Obi and Kwankwaso, but other aspirants, that is where you get people coming in, or kind of coming in, Yes, there's no point. There's nothing wrong with Okada going to House of Reps. But that individual, what is his competence? We're going to interrogate them now. And I'm sure NDC is going to do that before they give out their ticket.
I want you to tell Nigerians, specifically now, not just being generalistic, specifically, when you get to the National Assembly, will you champion that constituency or bogus salaries, these hefty salaries, jumbo pays, be reduced because of what the Nigerian people are suffering? Would you speak against SUVs costing 150 million, 200 million naira, that either be abolished or just give people transport allowances? Tell Nigerians.
You see, that is what people will make you to believe. I will not, because I'm running an election, get involved in what I think is not the issue. Okay. What is the issue? What is the issue is, what do you do in the House of Reps? The enormous power you have. If you are giving those instruments to work, you are giving nice car to work, you are giving enough funds to take care of your immediate needs and those people around you. What have you done as a person? How have you represented the people? I've told you about what I'm going to champion in the House of Reps concerning making sure that international security is provided on international waters in the old East. That's what I'm looking at. I'm going to insist. If the federal government does not do that, I'm going to provide the voice for the world to hear that we are saying, while we wait for the power to come, that gas chair has gas in the Anambra North, that should be access for people to tap from those gas to ensure that we have power in the industrial areas in Anambra State, especially in Nnewi Industrial Center, especially all the industries, that they should have access to gas so that those factories and industries should be powered to have electricity. I wouldn't start talking about salary. Anybody who tells you that is just playing to the gallery, is trying to play the emotions of the electorates. What are you going to do? I will make sure the rail station, the rail contract connecting Port Harcourt to Maiduguri, which is going to open up that corridor. I'm going to insist. If the federal government refuses to do that, I will make sure I speak to it every day until the whole people will start saying that something should be done about it. These are the issues I'm going to focus on. I'm going to insist that something should be done to ensure that small vessels move from the south, the old eastern ports, down to Makurdi, down to Lokoja, to ensure that people have access, the people from the north have access to the ports, to reduce the insecurity, provide jobs in those corridors. These are the things I'm going to insist. I'm not going there to start talking about salary or vehicle. If I'm giving vehicle to work, if I don't have one, I'll be happy to have one. So I cannot come here just because I need votes and start talking on issues I think are not necessary.
Is there any scenario where before you had great hopes, like most Nigerians, when the NDC coalition formed, there was great hopes and excitement? Is there any scenario in the last couple of months where the hope seems to have evaporated, and the ability of opposition parties being able to remove Tinubu in 2027, has the hope evaporated? 1 minute.
Well, I had concerns that we seem to have been boxed into a corner in ADC, that we may not be able to realize our dream of presenting a candidate to Nigerians, because Nigerians are the ones the Nigerians who are suffering are the ones that will have opportunity to speak on the election day. I felt concerned about that, but with this movement to NDC, there is hope. So I was concerned. I was concerned about the judgments coming out from the court. I was seriously concerned about pronouncements or comments coming out from the chairman of INEC. I was concerned. But at the end of the day, I now have hope that with NDC as a platform, Nigerians will have a platform through which they will express their views.
Do you believe there is a single candidate who can defeat Tinubu in a free and fair election in 2027, and who is that candidate?
You see, I do not think that one man can defeat Tinubu. I'm running an election. I cannot, because I'm running an election, say what I don't believe. I believe there should be partnership. And I believe, looking at what is happening in Nigeria, that the partnership, the best partnership that will remove Tinubu will be Southeast and the North. And that is what we now have in NDC. that partnership, I believe, is going to work. Because Tinubu, whether you like it or not, will make impact in the Southwest. Look at what is happening in Edo State. You see, it's part of the axis of quote-unquote evil of the APC. But the influence of the Southeast that will always be felt in the South-South for obvious reason, if they partner with the North, there will be a great difference. And that is why they are even concerned about that partnership.
Okay, brilliant. Final question. The elections, the general election is about 7-8 months away. I think it's January, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
So, give me one reason, why Nigerians should risk their safety, and their future on the coming elections in 2027, when previous experience in 2023, INEC raised our hopes so high, just to have it dashed, at the last minute with the electronic glitch that happened during results collation. Why should Nigerians risk everything again to come out in 2027 to vote for opposition, even though the opposition also seems not able to, unify themselves and have a common front?
In my place, they said, I don't know how to translate it in Igbo. No, I mean, if a woman is running and that whatever that is pursuing her is not that serious, you see her holding her chest, covering something. The also that we are going to do in 2027 is about life and death. So even if whatever that should have been protected on the chest is flying, Nigerians will go and vote. Because, see, I don't know how to explain it. Asiwaju is hoping that Nigerians will love him enough to vote for him again in 2027, and we are seeing this. So after 2027, where he will not come back for our votes, you can imagine what will happen. So it's about whether they will be alive or not. And I'm sure Nigerians will elect to have hope. And their only hope is to go out and vote. You see, if the vote does not matter, there will be no INEC making noise. If the votes do not matter, there will be no money to buy the votes. If the votes will not matter, there will not be creating crisis in the political parties. The votes matter, and Nigerians have to go and exercise their votes. And I'm sure they will do that in 2027. And I'm sure you already know that the partnership between the Southeast and the North that you can see in NDC, with the South spearheading it, the national leader of the NDC, APC is gone.